Hi, my name is Joe Knoll, and I am coming to you from the wild, wonderful West Virginia. I am going to talk to you today about Jade Colossus. This is one of the newest releases for Numenera from Monte Cook Games, and my opinion is it's really a long needed supplement. This is a campaign. Let's see, if we'll go to the table of contents, you'll see that this is a campaign. It's got new Ninth World campaign and directions on how to start a campaign. It has the campaign itself. It's got the installation, which is the Jade Colossus, and then it talks about other runes in the Ninth World, and then lastly, how do you generate runes in the Ninth World. I've been playing Numenera for, well, I guess since it came out, a little after, and off and on. I've ran 3 separate campaigns now. And in every campaign, there's always something to discover. Either the characters look on the big, beautiful map of the Ninth World and they see all these little gray boxes that have nothing, that have no writing by them. And they want to know what's there. So they exactly do what Monte Cook intended them to do. Well, so I'm always in the circumstance that I need to come up with some kind of installation or Ninth World place or ruin off the cuff. To do it any other way is very time consuming, in my opinion. I have done it that way. It's how I started playing. I come from, D&D like everyone else. To me, ruin in Ninth World equal dungeon in D&D. It's not really the case. So what you need to do is you need to kind of think more off the cuff, more improv, for lack of a better term. So that's not always easy to do, especially in something like the Ninth World where, we've got 8 civilizations before us, and what did they look like? Well, nobody knows, really. And everybody's 8 civilizations are going to be different because Monte Cook Games, one of their design conceits is that they're not going to tell you what they look like. They're not going to tell you what they look like because they want you to fill it out with your imagination. So this book, though, this last section, part 5 of this book, which says Generating Runes in the Ninth World. This section right here is the one that's like gold. There are so many tables. And I'm only going to leaf through a few of them. There are only so many tables. This is a table for chamber features. Okay, so this isn't like, well, I guess you could use it to map out a dungeon ahead of time. But you don't have to. You can improv it, and then when you need something, roll the dice, and whatever it is, there's your idea. Now go. As a game master. What I've done in the past, is I've taken the characters themselves, the player characters, or the players, I should say, the players, and when I walk into a room, or not when I walk into a room, sorry, when my players walk into a room, they say, okay, what do we see? I said, I don't know. What do you see? And then after the first time or two, they will get it. And they'll be like, oh, okay, I see walls that look like flesh and they're moving in and out like it's breathing. And I'm like, okay, and then I can run with that. Or we have Deck of the Weird. I don't have it here, but Monte Cook creates a deck of cards that have like weird themes and weird things, and you could turn over a card and that's inspiration because, you know, it's Numenera, it's supposed to be, you know, weird. What this does is this, to me, this gives you the same kind of deal, only it's much more specific. All of these tables, and of which there are, let's see, how many pages in this section? Let's go with, okay, so it looks like from page, I'm getting there, still getting there. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of tables in this book. From page 84 to roughly page 130, there are that many pages and that many pages worth of tables. And it looks like to me, most of these tables span 2 pages. That's a ton of tables. That's a ton of randomized goodness that you can get out of this book. So what are the quality of the things on the table? So, I mean, that's what I would ask. And so let's just pick something at random, okay? Okay, this is the energy discharge table. This table spans, looks like 4 pages. And it says, and I'm just going to read an excerpt here. I hope Monte Cook Games doesn't mind, but just to give you a flavor for the product here. Energy discharge table. An energy discharge table is the manifestation of energy from one area to another that is not meant to contain it. Okay, that makes sense. So the source of the energy discharge is usually a malfunctioning mechanism or a piece of tech meant to store energy hidden behind a wall or a bulkhead or something. So think sci-fi, you know? So if we rolled 2 dice, so let's go ahead, you know what, let's do that. Let's roll 2 dice. Let me get some dice. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. So I just happen to have 2 D10s here, or D100, I guess it would be. So let's roll that and let's see what we get. 86. Okay, so 80, 86. Let's see what 86 is. 86. All right, so it says as 83, 84. Okay, so let's read 83, 84. Remember, this is the energy discharge table. Concentrated ion leaks from the crystalline and synth device, causing a howling, moaning sound to reverberate through the nearby areas, along with a slight breeze. A fierce wind emanating from the device at its source makes it difficult to approach directly. And then 85, 86 says, however, a few successful intellect tasks could allow someone to find the leak and turn it off, but a mistake causes the entire chamber to be launched from the structure like a rocket, which could be lethal if navigation systems or other means of steering can't be found before the chamber crashes back to Earth. Okay, so we have an energy discharge which launched the chamber like a rocket with the PCs inside. Okay, I can work with that. All right, let's try another one. That's kind of fun. Let's see, then let's do the Explorer situation table. Let's see, Explorer's table. Explorers represent other outsiders who have entered the room to exploit it. Learn something from it or game. So this is like an NPC deal. So the first thing you do, it looks like, and realize this is my first time looking at this. So the Explorer NPC table, it's a 1d10. Okay, so we'll do, it's a 7. So it's an Explorer. So we use the Explorer table. Explorer situation table, and that's a D100. And it looks like 61. So 61. The explorers were dazed by exposure to a device somewhere in the structure. Oh no. And upon seeing the PCs, they respond like young animals do when imprinting on an adult. This lasts for a few hours or days, but eventually wears off. Okay, so these explorers, NPC explorers that you find are now looking at you like, hey, will you be my friend? I think you're going to be my friend. You have to be my friend, right? So that's a lot of fun. All right. Interstitial cavities. All right, one more. Let's do one more because this is kind of fun. Let's see. It's a D100 interstitial cavity. So I guess it's a cavity inside, like behind the wall or inside the wall or in the ceiling. Within structures as vast as Jade Colossus. Remember, that's a location essentially. And many other Ninth World ruins are many hollows, voids, and liminal locations that probably were never meant for prior world creatures to use directly. That's like all of Numenera. But exist rather as gaps, cavities, and empty regions normally hidden behind walls. Okay, so this is stuff that's behind the walls. Let's take a look. 34. Ah, as 31 and 32, so we get to read 31 and 32. So 31 and 32. Well, that one's as 21 and 22. So let's take a look at that one. Filled with immense, partially functioning colossal machine components fused to walls and ceilings high above. The components whirl, vibrate, and give off a constant bass roar that is difficult to endure over long periods. Each character who spends several hours clambering over the vast degraded devices can find only 1 or 2 ciphers and 1d20 shins, but must succeed on 1 level 3 speed defense task or avoid slipping and falling from a great height, D100 feet. Oh, let's find out how many hundreds of feet. Oh, it's only a foot. Okay, that's not that bad. And 1 level 3 intellect task to avoid causing a local malfunction. Okay, so let's see. Now we go to 21-22. However, characters who spend a few hours studying the machines might discover that they could be induced to attach a massive, house-sized device capable of creating an amazing amount of thrust, enough to potentially launch the object into space or even further. I see a trend. Let's see. And then we go down here to, I think we were what, 31, 32? Yes. Then it says, but roll on the integrated machine table to see what these machines might do. However, the ones found in an interstitial cavity would create this stated effect on a far grander scale, which means effects that might normally enhance or aid human-sized creature will instead probably kill them. Okay, integrated machine table. Where is that? Oh, here it is. So we got to roll on this one. 72. Device contains knowledge of nearby dimensions. Okay, so what we've done with just a few rolls in this one chapter out of the Jade Colossus is we have now something that's a chamber that's could potentially go into space, some machinery behind the walls that will cause an immense amount of thrust or something, but also contains knowledge of other dimensions. But it's potentially dangerous, like everything else in the Ninth World. So that is, I mean, that's GM gold, right? I mean, just one, I think I could probably run an entire session just based on these characters exploring the, breadth of just these few roles. A couple other things about this book. we have a bit in the beginning of the book about starting a Ninth World campaign. And honestly, I think this is a really good, also a good chapter. I believe it's more geared towards those who are working or who are doing the Jade Colossus, but a lot of the guidance, it seems, in it, just from skimming it, seems to be generally applicable to any, starting any Ninth World campaign. Then you, of course, have the Skin of the Colossus, which is the campaign itself. We won't go into any of that because wouldn't want to have any spoilers for you. And let's see, what else do we have here? So the campaign makes up the most of the book, up through page 82. In the back of the book, it looks like we have a small monsters compendium, a small bestiary, as it were. Looks like a bunch of new creatures that you can use in your campaigns. A marauding vault. Interesting. A radamanth. Okay. A pteromole, a Vatarian, which looks almost like another race. Something called a whisper. And then lastly, we have an index for the book, which is something really nice in almost all of Monte Cook's games. They have a very nice, complete index that gives you all the page numbers for all the key points in the book itself. And then of course we have some advertising in the back and some really nice interior cover arts. It's different. These I forget what they call this, but this art on the inside pages of the cover, very nice. So that's kind of a quick run through of the Jade Colossus, Runes of the Prior Worlds. I like it. I'm glad I bought it. But honestly, Numenera stuff for me is a easy sell. I mean, you've got, it's such an evocative setting. The game system itself, what I really like about it is that it gets out of the way. You can run the game with very little preparation. This book especially is worth your time, especially if you're an established game master or player that wants to get into game mastering for Numenera. I think this is a must, if for nothing else than that last chapter in the back of the book. These are my feelings on the Jade Colossus, Runes of the Prior Worlds, and I think you should pick it up if you're in the market for another campaign, or if you want to bring an easy way to generate or prior world or ruins or installations or whatever you want to call them into your game. So good work, Monte Cook Games. Thanks, Bruce. Good book. And I will see you later.